Spotify has pulled over 75 million AI-generated tracks in the last 12 months. 75 million. And Deezer? They're flagging 60,000 uploads a day. If you're making music with Suno or Udio, there's a very real chance your tracks are getting caught. And it's not like these platforms are guessing. Raw Suno exports get flagged at 97 to 99% accuracy. Deezer's system, powered by ACR Cloud, hits 99% on unprocessed output. That's basically a guaranteed catch. So what exactly are platforms detecting? These aren't audible watermarks. They're statistical fingerprints woven throughout the waveform. Spectral patterns, phase anomalies, sub-threshold noise, timing artifacts, all sitting 20 to 40 dB below the actual music. You literally can't hear them. Now here's where it gets ugly for creators. CD Baby, zero tolerance. They reject AI content outright. TuneCore pauses flagged tracks for manual review. Believe, TuneCore's parent company blocks anything from Suno-linked studios. DistroKid accepts AI music, but still scans for watermarks. But here's the thing most people get wrong. They try the obvious stuff, converting formats, tweaking the EQ, slamming a limiter on it. None of that works. You're fixing what you can hear. Scanners are detecting what you can't. Even professional DAW processing, and I mean serious, expensive tools, targets the wrong layer entirely. It's like trying to remove invisible ink by painting over it with a marker. The ink is still there. The scanner still sees it. So popular AI tools.ai ran a proper head-to-head test. 50 AI-generated tracks, 5 different removal solutions. Every cleaned track uploaded to 6 major platforms: TuneCore, DistroKid, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, and YouTube Music. The 5 contenders: Undetectr, iZotope RX11, Ableton Live Suite, Logic Pro, and FL Studio. One purpose-built tool versus 4 industry-standard DAWs. Let's see what happened. Undetectr, 98% pass rate. Out of 300 total platform submissions, 50 tracks times 6 platforms, 297 passed. That's not a marginal win. That's a blowout. Look at the per-platform breakdown. 50 out of 50 on TuneCore. 50 out of 50 on DistroKid. 50 out of 50 on Apple Music and Amazon Music. Spotify, 49 out of 50. YouTube Music, 48 out of 50. That's absurdly consistent. And here's what makes it even more ridiculous. It's $39. One time. Runs in your browser. No DAW required. No technical skills. You upload a track, wait 90 seconds, and you're done. That price is going up to $99, by the way. But the real difference isn't the price or the speed. It's the approach. Undetectr removes the actual statistical fingerprints, the things scanners detect. DAWs, they mask audible symptoms. Different problem entirely. Now runner-up, iZotope RX11, industry standard audio restoration, costs $399, and it hits 72%. Honestly, that's not terrible for a tool that wasn't built for this. But here's the catch. 4 to 6 hours of manual work per track. Spectral repair, artifact painting, declicking, dehumming, all by hand. And even after all that effort, 22 out of 50 tracks made it through DistroKid. The other 28 got flagged. Because RX11 is designed for human audio restoration, it's incredible at what it does. It's just not designed for this. Now the DAWs. Ableton Live Suite, 58%, 14 out of 50. Logic Pro, 54%, 11 out of 50. FL Studio, worst of the bunch, 48%. Only 8 tracks made it through. And remember, these are multi-$100 professional tools. And the time investment? Ableton and Logic Pro, 6 to 10 hours per track. FL Studio, 8 to 12 hours. We're talking EQ8, spectral resonators, match EQ, multiband compression, manual artifact painting. Hours of skilled labor for a coin flip. So let's just put the costs side by side. Ableton, $749. Logic Pro, $199, but Mac only. FL Studio, $199 to $499. And Undetectr, $39. The cheapest option is the one that works, by a massive margin. Here's the math that really hits. 50 tracks through Undetectr, $39 total, 75 minutes of processing. 50 tracks through iZotope, $399, plus 250 hours of manual work. Ableton, $749, plus 400 hours, and for dramatically worse results. The numbers honestly speak for themselves. 26 percentage points between first and second place, and a 50-point gap between first and last. That's not a close race. That's a different sport. So let me just line them all up one more time. Undetectr, 98%. iZotope, 72%. Ableton, 58%. Logic Pro, 54%. FL Studio, 48%. Every single DAW-based approach fails more tracks than it passes. Only Undetectr clears that threshold. But honestly, the pass rate is only half the story. The other half is automation. Undetectr is the only tool here that doesn't require you to be an audio engineer. Upload, wait 90 seconds, download. That's the whole workflow. Now, why is the gap so enormous? It comes down to what each tool is actually targeting. DAWs process audio you can hear. Makes sense. That's what they're built for. But AI watermarks live in the statistical layer. You can't EQ away a phase coherence anomaly. Think about what's actually embedded. Frequency domain patterns unique to AI generation. Phase relationship anomalies that human recordings just don't have. Noise patterns below the audible range. Timing artifacts and how the audio was generated. None of that shows up on a standard EQ curve. These fingerprints sit 20 to 40 dB below the actual music. You will never hear them. But an algorithm? It spots them instantly. That's the whole design. Invisible to humans, obvious to machines. Now, and this is important, removing watermarks doesn't mean you skip disclosure. Spotify and Apple Music both enforce AI disclosure through the DDEX standard. You're contractually required to disclose AI usage in your credits. That's non-negotiable, regardless of what tools you use. So why remove watermarks at all? Because false positives are real. You might use AI for a backing track and add real vocals, real instruments, real arrangement. That's AI-assisted music. But the watermark from that one Suno stem can flag your entire track. That's the problem this solves. So here's the bottom line. On every single metric, pass rate, cost, processing time, skill required, Undetectr wins. And it's not close. 98% versus 72% at best. $39 versus $749. 90 seconds versus 12 hours. Pick any axis, same result. And this problem isn't going away. It's getting worse. Deezer has tagged 13.4 million AI tracks. Spotify has pulled 75 million. Detection systems are getting better, not worse. If you're making AI-assisted music in 2026, you need a real solution, not a workaround. Look, I'm just reading the data here. 50 tracks, 6 platforms, 5 tools. One of them passed 98% of the time at a fraction of the cost. That's Undetectr at $39 before the price goes up. The numbers are the numbers.